This figure you can see right here. This is some
Okay, that's
$23,000. This
some
is the
good number to digest.
so freelancing money. This is the
Yeah,
money I earned from this
23,000,
particular platform by
350
doing.
is the one from the one platform.
Yes, this is just one platform.
Right, that is when it convert to INR, that is around 17 lakh, 17.5 lakh.
Is
That
it? Just let me check it. Okay, it comes around, yeah, 17
17
lakhs.
lakh. Hey guys, welcome to Janzi Hub. Today with us we have Shibangsh Chaudhary. Hey Shibangsh,
Hi, what's up?
how's it going?
It's fine. How about you?
Yeah, good man. So it's been a long time since we catch up. Actually, I had Shibangsh wherein they studied together. So
Yes.
Shibangsh, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Shibangsh Chaudhary, and the boring part of my life is that what everybody goes through is like I completed schooling from, I was born and brought up in Kolkata. I completed my school in class 10th and 12th from Kolkata itself. Then I went to Bangalore, the IT hub, the hip and happening place. And I went and, did my engineering from there in computer science. I was there for 4 years and I got placed in an MNC from there. Capgemini. So after getting placed from there, uh, after getting a job from there, I was transferred back to Kolkata, which I did not want, by the way. And after that, since now after that, a lot of things happened. I've quit my job, transformed into online business and lots of other stuff. And the interesting part is that what I find interesting, uh, uh, I've traveled to also. I've also went to 5 countries. Those are the things worth remembering, not the education and the degrees and all, but
Yeah,
still they are
your
important.
background says it all.
Oh yes, yes, travel fake, right?
Yeah, right.
Uh,
So yeah, it's been great catching up with you after so long time, Shivansh. So let's in deep go through this stuff. Like, please, can you please elaborate a bit about your education? Like, how was your how are you performing? So the main agenda. Let me tell you, the main agenda of this Gen Z Hub. The theme is to uh, think how Generation Z people are thinking, their perspective on different things and education, what are the importance of education and all the like how the generation Z main agenda is about the generation Z here. So can you please elaborate about your education, like where you scoring very good marks like a typical Indian or an average student, and what made you choose engineering and all those stuff?
yeah, sure. So coming to my education, as I said, I completed my schooling class 10th and 12th from Kolkata itself. So basically, during my school years, I was we can call better than average student. I used to get good marks. I was excited about some of the subjects. For example, I'll tell you my marks. Okay, in class 10th, what I achieved was like 90% in class 10th. That is ICSE board, and in class 12th, I got 88%. Those are not like too good, but they say it's better than average. Like
Right, right,
at
right.
the end of the day, it made me happy. I was happy with because I was the kind of guy who studied at the last moment, maybe the last 1 month. We get all the books and notes from our friends, and just studied the basic parts that is needed to score marks. But three of the subjects I enjoyed always studying. One is like English. It has been my favorite since childhood. Maths, like I love numbers. I still love numbers. I've been good with numbers. And in engineering also, I got like good marks in maths if you talk
Okay.
about marks. And another thing which I loved is like computer programming. That's the only thing that I believed, where you can code something and see it come to life, performs lots of different things. So that made me choose engineering in the first place. It's like in most cases when people choose engineering, it's like parental pressure, or the thing is there that everybody is either doctor or
Right.
engineer or lawyer, so I need to be engineer. But in my case, I was genuinely interested in computer science, so I took engineering. But here the story changes. Once I went into engineering, I was enjoying everything in school, so I thought it will be so cool, we'll have lots of projects and all. But once I went into engineering, I saw that it's not what I expected, right? The thing was like, the more focus was on rote learning. We used to have, this programming lab experiments of 12 programs. What people used to do, they used to just buy out the programs and, come there. It's like, you can just mug up and get the marks. But for me, to enjoy something, I need that excitement. So that excitement for me was missing during my engineering days.
Right.
But again, I was, you can call a typical average student during engineering. First semester was like, uh, sunken Titanic. I got back in one subject, and that was one of the most memorable moments of engineering. There was a like back. It's like I failed in that subject. So next semester I retook that subject, and I passed anyways.
Right.
And but after that, from second to the last semester, it was like constantly anywhere near around the FCB, that is called 70%, that gives you the distinction. So it was
Right.
either 69, 68 or 71, 72, just between that till the end of the uh, eighth semester.
So you had a gate pass to the campus placement from the college.
Yeah, I got placed from the campus itself.
Yeah, so if you have the FCD thing, you are so eligible to any companies visiting the campus.
Yeah, it is. And there is also this fact, just that when once you get in placed in one company, you're not allowed to sit in anything. And I've always been a lazy guy, the lazy backbencher guy. I know that most of the people who are watching this video are Gen Z kind, the guys especially, they can relate to this video. I was that, the backbencher kind, sitting in the last bench, bunking classes. And I went to college with, just a pen and a small copy in my back pocket of my jeans. So that's how my, life was in college. I enjoyed it, the life with friends and all, but the studies made me bored. And again, uh, mm, we are see the typical middle class Indian family, right? So if your parents are spending money on you, they expect a job from you. So there was this, okay, I need to get a job. But once I got a job, I did not apply anywhere else. I did not try anyone. So like, okay, one is fine as it is. Like, my mind was already shifted. I was not enjoying the things. I was like, okay, fine, one ek hai to kafi hai, chalo.
Okay, so chal bhai party karte hain. Right. So when it comes to education in India, so people take it too seriously. What is your perspective on education? Up to which level of education do you think is important? Like after schooling, when we were studying, actually, people, our parents or everyone else, they used to tell by पढ़ लो 10th pass करो, life set हो जाएगा. Next, when it comes to 12th, pass 12th, flying colors, then your life will be set. After engineering, again the same story happens. So what do you think? What is your thought process when it comes to education?
So basically, see, I think that education, when it comes, is important. At least, everyone should have a bachelor degree, I guess, because it's not for the education. See, anyways, I will, for engineers, those who are there, nothing that you study in engineering, almost nothing will be used in your real life. I'll tell you a simple fact. The first day in my company, it is an MNC, right? The first day I entered inside, the company premises. I was feeling good. I was like, okay, fine. I have a job.
Can you,
good. This can be.
If you don't mind, can you take a name of the company?
Capgemini, right? I already told you in the beginning. It's Capgemini. It's a service-based company. Most of the people from engineering, they get placed in service-based company only if they are from tier 2, tier 3 colleges.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically when I got placed, the first thing that the trainer told me is like, whatever you studied in engineering, just forget it. I'm like, what? What did I spend my 4 years in? I need to forget it. They're like, yeah, you need to forget it because what you have to do in your work will teach you in the next 3 months. So gave us training and those sort of stuff. So I was like, okay, fine. Whatever I studied in the last 4 months last 4 years is not even required. But that apart, I think education is important to bachelor level, till bachelor level, because see, education, it does not just means that rote learning and all those stuff. It makes you makes you up, it makes you grow as a human being, right? Because in my college I had a lot of experiences. I interned with startups, right? So I had a chance of interning with some good companies where I got learned a lot, basically how everything is done. I got to experience about life, the things which matter in life, maybe like how to know people, how to be friends with people, because
Network.
frankly speaking, before frankly speaking, before engineering, in school I was that shy kid who did not come up that much. But in college, I came out from my cocoon, so as to say, a butterfly coming out from a cocoon. So I was taking part in things. I was winning some things also. I was enjoying it. So basically, education, what I say is that it's important. You need to know the basics, and more than the education, more than what you're studying, you grow as a human being. And of course, I know that education is like, it's not like totally waste. If we call it, that will be very bad on my side, because basically the middle class, the rise of the middle class in India can and elsewhere can be attributed to education itself.
Yeah,
Because
right.
from education you have a straight path to a job, and I think engineering is most preferred because is I guess it's the simplest path to get a job after you have completed your degree.
Right. So, what is your perspective on the environment which you study? Like, there is a different kind of environment in tier one colleges, tier two colleges, tier three colleges. What is your perspective on those things?
I know only about tier 3 college, right? Because I'm from a
Okay.
tier 3 college.
Right, right.
It's environment. I know. So any college in you are studying, it depends on see where you have got. Where to the viewers of this video, I want to say the which college you have got in. You have already got inside, right? You cannot go back to your past and change what you have got, right? So what you can do if you are in a college, maybe whichever college you are in, maybe you try to socialize, you try to network, you try to take part in different activities because that will open you up. That is
Right.
more important. The most important part is not winning something, the being able, having the overcoming the fear to take part, overcoming the fear to speak, overcoming the fear to do something which is different from everyone else is doing. That I think is the most important part. But if someone who is watching this video who has not yet got
Yeah,
into
right.
engineering or
This
plan to
was
go
my
into
next point.
engineering,
Yeah, next point, because
right,
you have experienced tier three college experience.
right,
If
right,
someone want to experience the tier one or tier two, so that after watching your video, they might get excited and they might push themselves to get into those companies, because seeing what you regretted if you wish to go to those companies, or there might be a back of your mind these kind of thoughts, right? Like if I
right.
had been to that college or tier one college like PSU in Bangalore or any other IITs, NITs, or etc. So what is your thought on that?
Yeah, so basically, if there are students, who are in their school days or PUC days, who plan to get into engineering or any other college for that matter, my opinion will be, just work hard a little, because what I see is that, a good college, it matters. Maybe for some people, the focus is on getting a good job. Maybe for other people, it's growth and overall development. So I will talk
Environment,
about the like,
environment,
yeah,
they
environment,
mentioned.
yeah, yeah. So that your environment, that has a effect on your overall growth as a human being. Because see, for me as a person, the more than the employment, of course, because I'm in a different line, so this is my point of view, because I'm not in a job anymore, so this is my point of view. I've seen that, I've felt in my life experience till now, I feel that it is, more important to grow and learn, as a human being, than to focus on which company you're getting placed. Because trust me when I say this, there are a lot of things that you can do in life. It's not that there is just one thing that you have to do. Even after you study engineering, even after you get a job, you can do a tremendous amount of thing. And
Right,
thanks to the digital revolution and internet, nothing
right,
nothing is like out of bounds. If you focus your mindset, if you have a mindset, to achieve something, to do something that you want, to change your life for the better, you can do that. But of
right,
course, my suggestion will be, study a little bit more. I mean, and if it's possible, if it's within your capabilities, get into a good engineering college,
right.
or
That's
whatever college that you're aspiring for.
right. Right. So that's all about education. And as you told earlier, you got into your MNC, that's Capgemini, through your placement. So how was your experience at the Capgemini, like after the transition from college to an MNC, and the process, working hours, those, like overall your work experience at Capgemini? And you can also
So
tell about
basically, yeah.
any other company you worked for.
Yeah, I worked for only one company, and in college there was some internships in startups,
Okay.
but working full time, it was only in one company. Physical working, as I said, like going to the office and working, it was only in one company, Capgemini. So basically, when I got placed, the office, when the office started, basically the 3 months of training, I was a little bit excited. I was not a little bit, I was excited, meeting new people, meeting new faces, and uh, family people, they called up and they were like, wow, you have got a job now. People make you feel good with that you have got your first job. So that was a good feeling. That was a good phase of life. For the 3 months, the money was very less, because I think for the first 6 months they have some what they call some provisional period or something, where they see your
Probation
performance,
period.
and then after, yeah, probation, I'm sorry for using the wrong word. So probation period, where you get not the full salary, you get some part of your salary, maybe I think 60% or 50%, like that. The money was not that much, but still, when the first, when the first salary came up, it was such a good feeling. Meeting new people, learning new things. It was a quite interactive training sessions. I thoroughly enjoyed the training sessions, and wearing the formals for the first time, it was a kind of altogether different feeling, because college, for all of us, it goes away in like jeans and t-shirts and all those kind of things. So
Right.
transitioning into a formal wear, there were a lot of experiences, and then staying back late, working, studying.
Mhm.
That was a good phase. I was pretty excited. So after that, once the training ended, these people ask you for a recommendation, like where do you want to be located. They give you three choices, three cities where the company is located, and you can give those options to them based on your priority. So I told that I want to be located. My first preference was always Bangalore, because I love the city. That is, like, I have been there for 4 years. I really love the city.
It's best
And if
city.
I
As
can
of
go
now,
back,
it's the best city to live in India.
yes, the weather. Oh my God, the weather, the people,
Yeah.
beautiful, amazing people like Mr. Yaswant here.
Right.
Yeah. So the thing is that my preference was Bangalore, and I wanted to be, if not Bangalore, I wanted to be either Pune or Chennai, because Chennai was nearby Bangalore. And Pune also, I liked it for several purposes, but I did not give my city as a preference as Kolkata. But
Is there
luck
any
had it,
particular reason for that?
yeah, there is, because see, the thing is that because I am a native of Kolkata, if they put me in Kolkata, the company saves on giving a relocation amount which they give. A certain amount, it's a small amount, not that much, but the company, if they send you to your native place, they save on that relocation amount.
Right.
And since you are a native people are preferred, because you know the language and all those stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe something is there, but still, native is always preferred. So there were only 4 people out of a batch of, I guess, 30 or 40 who were sent to Kolkata, only 4 people.
Okay.
So that time I was very much frustrated. I'm like, what? No, I don't want to go back. I'm enjoying it here. I don't want to go back. So once I went back there, and then, the real work started. And once the work started, I thought something big was again missing. Something
Okay.
which I
So
wanted was not
before
there.
the further you continue, so what was your designation? What was your work? What technology were working on? Can you just brief
So
about that?
I was trained in SAP SAP. So my basically it's called SAP ABAP with HANA. So it's basically enterprise ERP management system, ERP. And I
Okay.
was working in the project of Burberry. It's a very luxurious brand located in UK, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
So my project was Burberry. So their project, we had to do some entries, some financial work, and all the stuff. The thing is that the learning was good, but when I came to work in the office, the thing was that there was a set of things that we freshers were allowed to do, not more than that, and those were very boring. And the thing was that what really made me sad was that there was a compulsory thing about me to be in the office for 9.5 hours. And the office was, it took me 1.5 hour to commute from my place to the office. So that was really burning me from the inside. I was not happy with that. I realized it as and when the time went forward. I was not happy in that position. I thought I need to do something more. Even though the people were good, but the work culture, honestly, it did not appeal to me. The things which I were looking for, maybe a happy team, productive team, working on something exciting. Maybe it's different for other people, but that is my experience. So that did not suit me well. I had a feeling somewhere that I'm missing something. This is not something I want to be doing. And of course, the one more thing, what people say during when you have a job and all, right, like whatever job you are getting, take that. Don't talk about your salary. Whatever salary you're getting as a fresher, you should accept that.
Just take it.
But deep inside within me, I was getting that feeling that no, I'm not happy with this salary. I'm not happy with
I'm,
what they're paying. Maybe it's
I
an
deserve
MNC or
better.
something. There was a feeling that I can do better, not I deserve better. I can do better. I can
Right.
do something which is not this, and I can do something where I can make my own life better. So that is also something. The salary
And
part
yeah.
is what.
And quickly, can you tell about the technology you were working on, like, and your designation?
Yeah, my technology, as I said, it's called SAP ABAP and
Okay. Right.
HANA,
Right.
and
You
my
had mentioned.
designation was and my designation was analyst. When I joined it, it was
Okay.
analyst. First it was trainee for 3 months, then it
Okay.
was analyst. And in my duration of I stayed in the company for 2 years, I was promoted to senior analyst after 1 year. So
Okay.
that's it. When I was senior analyst, I quit my job.
Okay. So you quit job, and what is the further journey? So
Yeah, coming in.
So after you quitting the job, what is your journey? How is it continuing as of now?
Okay, so there is some interesting part in that. So while I
Yeah,
was in
and
my job,
yeah, also the
yes,
decision which you took, only less than not even 1% of the Indians would dare to take this decision, like quitting the job. Like it, they need to face such circumstances, and they need to. It's something like going opposite opposite to the whole world. You are like in the same track. You are going the opposite direction. So, what made you to quit this job? As you told, like it was the you deserved. You can do better. You mentioned, and what is the total experience like quitting the job and all? Yeah.
trust me when I say this, when I thought of quitting my job, and I really when I really quit my job, I was scared. I was deep down in fear. Am I doing the right thing? I was thinking, who in the right state of the mind will take this step? Who will quit a job at this stage of 2 years of my career? I was afraid, like every other people should be. Let's just accept this fact. Fear is something everyone will experience if you are doing something against the societal norms. If you are
Yeah.
doing
Right.
something that is not the tried and tested part. If you are doing something which you deeply believe in, but that's maybe your society, your parents. There are many relatives, everything, keeping your own life point as a view, and we are bought in a thing where we are taught to play it safe. We are
Right.
taught to
Right.
play it,
I
do
totally
it
agree.
what has already been accomplished.
Right.
We are in a position that, like, especially I'm talking about Indian middle class families. I'm not like, see, I'm not generalizing, but the thing is that when we grow up, we tend to follow our beaten path. We tend to do 10, 12 engineering, do a job, get an MBA, get married, go ahead. But sometimes deep within myself, I found that I understood that this is not my journey. This I don't want this to my journey. But when I took the decision of really quitting my job and transitioning into the online business, I was scared. I was very much scared, and fear took the hold of me. And but yeah, with some and it's not a fact that I just quit my job and then started working. When I was 1 year into my job, I already started working in my online business. I started my freelancing when I was just 1 year into my job, because I wanted to do something more. I was not enjoying that, and of course the money factor. I wanted something more, so that
This is
was
the
also
main
pinching
point
me.
every Indian is scared of. Like, what if the thing, whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm getting into, if what if it doesn't work? So, can you just
Yes,
give
yes.
a quick message to someone who is like trying to? They have their own dreams, but they might be not be financially good or something like they
Yeah,
have.
that's what. Yeah. But my point is that, see, as I was pointing out, my thing is that I did not just jump ship within a day, just overnight, thinking, okay, I will quit my job. I set up my online business. I set up the things. I set up my freelancing, and after 1 year, I was making almost double the money of the salary I was earning as a corporate employee, right? So after that point, I'm like, yeah, I can pursue this. I can go with the flow. And if I go with this, if I follow this part, if I follow this path, I can do a lot of things. But the thing is that as I'm making double my, the salary I was being paid, I was like, okay, I can take this step. Still, I was very scared, because the thing about that people teach you, these are not safe. You might
Right,
get money one day, the next day you might not get money. What will you do in your life?
right, right,
What will
right.
you do when you grow up if you don't have a job? These are the things I heard from my relatives also. Frankly speaking, my parents were very supportive. That is something that I
Yeah,
really,
that is
really
very
appreciated.
important.
Very, very important. Your parents, if your parents are not supportive, you cannot explore the different things that you want to do in life. So in that path I was very lucky. And the second thing was that in during relatives and the people who really work in my company, the people who are like 20 years, 25 years experience, they call me and like, what kind of decision is that? Who quits their job after doing
Are you out
engineering,
of your
after
mind?
spending so much money? Yes, exactly. I was made to feel like, okay, what did I do? Did I commit the greatest mistake of my life ever? But
Okay.
no, I kept my focus, because this is something, when you quit a job and you transition into something that you think that you will be successful in that place, you are fighting with everyone, and you are just a one man army. You need to keep your
Right.
mindset, you need to work, you need to go forward, you need to take all your experiences and put yourself back together in the world.
Right. So, if someone is like, what is your tip if someone is trying to do like follow your path, like leave their job, quit, resign from their day job, and if they want to pursue their entrepreneurship or freelancership, like how they need to prepare themselves? What are your tips for them?
So basically, you see, if you want to go into freelancing, so basically, I will point out like what my journey, where I am now, what I'm doing now, and how I came to this place. Basically, on the life that I'm living now. So basically, what I do nowadays, most of my time is spent on this thing called running advertisements. It's called native ads. Some people will be aware, but most people will not be aware. So this is my online business now. I'm focusing more. But when I started it out, I started with freelancing, because to do any kind of business, you need a sort of capital, and I did not have any kind of capital with me. So to build up the capital, I needed to do freelancing, because freelancing is something which you can start for zero money. You can start for ₹0. You don't need to invest anything. You just need to have the right skill set, the technical
Skills are
skill set.
really
If you're in a
important.
technical field, yeah, your communications, you need to be good in communications, because if you're doing freelancing, I guess that it should be, not I guess, it should be all your clients, most of your clients should be US, UK, Australia, or Canada based. These are the 4 countries which I work in, mostly US and UK, because that's where the real
Money
money
flows.
is. If you really want to, yes,
Right.
if you really want to establish yourself as an freelancer, these are the countries you should target. So so you should be good in communications. Your communications should be good. Your technical knowledge, when you're starting out, you should have a basic level of knowledge, so that your main aim should be, what I do, I help business owners, right? So I help business owners run their online businesses, set up their edtech businesses, market their business, set up their so-called funnels. If people are aware about funnels, otherwise people can have a look what funnels are.
So Shivansh, yeah, if someone is ready to like pursue their dream, like if they want to be an entrepreneur or a freelancer or whatever their dream is, by quitting their job, they might face some difficulties or hurdles in the beginning steps. So can you explain how was your journey? Like, what are these like? Like, if someone tries to be a freelancer or something, in the initial step, they will face difficulties. Like, they will try it for 1 or 2 weeks, and they'll face like they might not get a project, or they might not be getting the whatever the money or monetization they were expecting. They might not reach that in the initial stages. So what are the steps you took? Like, you raised the complete fund for your business doing the freelancing stuff and all. Like, so what was your journey?
So basically, this is a good question. When I first started out, okay, leaving all that, my first tip to anyone who would want to quit their job and, do something, like online business or freelancing, no matter whatever you want to do. My first tip is that never ever think about leaving the job without having a base in your hand, right? You should have a base, where you can have what I define as your monthly cash flow, right? Where you get your monthly, every month you get some money, maybe business or anything, do anything. If you're trying to do a business, set it up while you're still in a job. It can be difficult managing both, but if you want to transition it, this is the first most important and the most vital step. Because see, this is kind of a risk, right? Whatever you are do, freelancing or any other kind of business, there is no surety. That's why people are afraid of coming in. When you're in a job, does not it's basically the what happens, it does not matter what you do the work
And
or
end
not.
of the month, you will be
Yeah,
salary will be credited no matter what.
exactly. But when you're working for yourself, when you are running a business, everything depends, like your skill level, your network, your communication, a lot of things. It can, like, they say that 9 out of 10 businesses fail, right?
Right, right.
So this is not a thing where where you can just barge in and be like, okay, I will just go and throw a resignation at my boss's face and I will quit the job the next day and I'll be yeah man, I've quit my job, I accomplished it. No. That does not work like in movies. There's just throw the
Right.
resignation on your boss's face. You need to build a base. You need to have something where you can depend on, where you can say, okay, fine, I have a base, I can go from here. When I quit my job, as I pointed out, I was already making double my monthly salary that I was doing my from my job. So basically, I spent the last 1 year that I was in my job, in building up my freelancing business, in building up clients, in having the saving up, having an emergency fund also, because when you're quitting a job, you're basically in a territory that you have no idea of. You need to figure out everything by yourself. You
Right.
cannot depend on anyone, and need to be 100% sure that whatever happens, I can take myself through these tough times. So the two things which are mostly required are, you should have backing, right? Where you're making monthly cash flow, you're making money. And the second thing, that you should also have an emergency amount in your account, maybe your monthly expenses for the next 6 months,
Right.
because those are very important to start something. And for starting freelancing, it does not cost any money. I did not spend any money. What I did, I just went on it is a very weird journey, so per as to say. I will tell what I do in freelancing, what I actually did, because now I'm into something else and I'm doing freelancing quite a lot less. I'm into my managing my online business. So what I did, my journey was like that, during when I was just browsing, I wanted to do something. I came around this called so-called chatbots, right? Where in Facebook, you might have seen, or WhatsApp, where you message a company or someone, you message them something, and a bot replies you back with automated messages, right? I was like, wow, this is so awesome. I need to learn this. I want to learn this, how to do this. Okay. So I went ahead and saw some free course about some softwares, how to use those softwares to make automated bots, because I did my research. I saw that those were paying quite well. In websites which I use for freelancing, the platforms, those were playing quite well. I mean, it's like, according to my mentality in those days, like, oh wow, this is giving $100. Wow, this is so awesome, man. If I build this thing chatbot, so I'll get $100. That was a lot for me during those days. So basically, I was trying to learn that, but while learning that, I came across, by seeing courses. I took 1 or 2 courses. I'm like, wow, man, courses are so awesome online. That was the first time I was getting into online courses. I was like, wow, courses are so awesome. I hope people who build courses, they also get paid a lot, right? And it will be exciting, I guess. So I did some research and all, and I was like, they are paid much more than any chatbot developer. So I was going to learn that, but instead I found something, which is totally different, making online courses using platforms. So again, my best friend Google, I took the help of Google. I did some research and all. And after that, I registered myself on a freelancing platform that is called Upwork. I was also there on Fiverr.com, those who are aware of it. So those were my starting points. In Fiverr.com, I was giving my services and I was charging $10, for one service. So I used to get around $8 in my account for a $10 service, because $2 was the service charge for Fiverr. So that time, getting $8, I'm like, wow, I got $8. That is almost like 560, 575 rupees. I was like, wow, this is so cool. If I do keep on doing this, I'm making money. This is like, those were like, very exciting in the beginning, first days. And then I also did on Upwork. I remember when I first started, I was charging some $7.50 or $8. And this was conducted through PayPal, where I still receive most of my earnings. But my first earning was again through PayPal. I did some project. I got the money through PayPal. That was $7.50 per hour. Those are like,
Can you just tell me as an example? Can you just tell me an example? Like, what was your first project and how difficult was it for you to land that first project?
Yes, my first project, as I was saying, the first project was not paying that much, but $7.50 per hour, which is, that is a wage earned by people who make burgers in McDonald's in the US. So for them, it's it's a very much profit for them. But for me, it was quite a lot. I was very happy with that $7.50 per hour. So basically, my first project was that, I was working with a client who had a website. He was basically a doctor, and he was teaching what we call, we have the medical entrance exam in India, right? I'm not sure what we call that, NEFT or something like that. I'm not sure. NEET, yeah, right. So medical entrance exam. So for the US, there is this called MCAT, right? So this is medical entrance exam for MCAT. So this guy was teaching people how to crack MCAT, and he was charging some $700 for his course. Okay. So my main was basically, to take care of his website, and first of all, to just clear the air out. I do not code any websites. I'm a big fan of no code. If you are aware with it, those who are in this field, marketing field, they will be aware of. There is this thing called no code, where we don't code anything. We use the platforms to build what we want. So I also use platforms to build everything. Everything you can do at the click of a mouse. You just need to know how it works.
Best so I started with this WordPress, CRMs, everything.
Yes, just like WordPress, there are a lot of website builders, WordPress, Shopify. So like almost all are same. If you know one, you can, navigate through the others easily. So the first days were quite a bit difficult. I was learning, I was applying, but I did not tell my client that I'm brand new. I told my client that I was experienced. That was a bluff I played, a bluff I played because I thought that who will hire a kid who just starting out? Right? Who will pay their money? So I did a couple of projects. I found a couple of websites addresses. I shared it with him. He believed me. He took an interview. I gave the interview well. Also, I studied some of the parts which I was, going to do with. So I also studied that. I had a little bit of knowledge, theoretical knowledge. So I was learning. I was seeing Google, taking help from Google, and then doing it on he was happy with the work. I worked for him for the next 3-4 months, and he increased my wages from $7 to, at the end of the 4 months, it was almost $12. So
Great.
$12 per hour, like, that was like, I was so happy. And that was a point in time that I started thinking of, what if I, spend more time in this? What if this propels me to pursue the career I want and not be in the
Right.
job that I wanted to be?
Right. So that was your first project and the experience.
Yes, that
Right.
was the
So
first project
after
experience.
this first project, like how the journey continued? Like you still continued to take up the projects and freelancing, or you earlier mentioned like you're doing some other business as of now. So what is the journey further on?
So basically, for the first, for the 1 year that I was in the company, I was focused fully on freelancing.
Yeah.
The money
So who
kept
did the
on coming
company
in.
job? They were just paying you. So how could you manage? That is the one question that everyone asks. Like, how could you manage the 9.5 hours you mentioned? 9.5 hours on campus, like in office work you had to do. Like after that, could you manage that? Whatever the client requirements.
So basically, it's also a very good question. I wanted to talk about this also. So basically, after getting a project, no, for the first 3 months they keep you on a they don't shadow. It's called shadow resource.
Okay.
It's called shadow resource. It's like you will work in the project, but you are not part of the you are not officially a part of the project, right? So when I first joined the company for the 3 months, I was a shadow resource, right? So after the shadow resource period was over, they let me go. They did not take me in the project.
Okay.
They thought that, I don't know why. Maybe they saw that I was bored and not willing to, work. I used to run. I was the first one to get out of office, and I was the last one to come into office. And being a fresher, if I did that, the seniors was like, what, this young guy is going out so fast? No, he's not ready, he's not
He's
capable
not
to do
fit
the
for
job.
anything.
Exactly. I think that was the thing running, in the mind of my managers. So there I was, the so-called bench period. Bench period is, those
Yeah.
who are in the IT company, they can relate to it. It's like a honeymoon period. As per, you get paid, you just need to log your hours. You don't, need to work. You just, and there will be interview arranged by the HR team and then and there. So those, like, I was 3 to 4 months, I was in the bench period. So in those 3 to 4 months, that was a time that was started researching, into this. I did not
Mhm.
start doing anything. I started just researching what to do, how to do anything. I did not make any money back then, but I was just like, just falling into this. And then after that, also I become a part of the project. But when I became a part of the project, that time, all the feelings that I had during the company, okay, this is not good, this is not I want to do, this, the money is not enough, all the feelings that came up. So that time I just transitioned. I went to work in the morning, and at the night times and during the weekends, I I worked hard during that time, basically. So I worked hard during that time to, set up my business, set up the freelancing, learn the things those are needed. And one thing is that, when it is night time here, it's morning time in the United States and UK, and vice versa. So since I was back from the office at night, I could, converse with my client. We require a lot of Zoom calls and everything to fix it up. So that also in the night time, I, spend some 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, and even in the weekends. These people, the people who are based in the United States, they don't usually work on the weekends. But some of my clients also used to work on Saturdays, and I also used to work full day on Saturday. On Sundays, it was full, like, studying, getting to know better the technology I wanted to be in. So it is kind of hard work, as I said. When you want to quit your job, you have to make the time with your job and your online business, learning,
Need to
doing,
toil
and
and
everything.
boil.
Exactly. For that 1 year and 1.5 year, when you work hard, after the end of, that period, you can be happy that, okay, you are at a position that you can quit your job and move forward.
Right. So that was your the journey. Like, so what are you doing as of now?
Okay, yeah. So as of now, I'm not that much focused on freelancing. I started with freelancing. I earned a good amount of money. It's good by, it's good by many standards. Maybe
Okay, if you
maybe
don't
I
mind,
we
can you
can.
show like there will be like there are so many flashy things in the freelancing world. Like people will see some videos like I made thousands of dollars just by freelancing this website, that website, and people when they try to do the same things and they might in the initial stages they might find difficult or something. So can you just show me like legit like everyone will be like
Of course. So yeah, of course,
will
I'll
the
show you
clear
in the
picture?
back end. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So
Can
it will
I
show
make
them
you the
on.
host now?
Yeah. So I'll first of all I will like discuss. I will tell you what I am doing now basically. So point out. I will answer that question first, and then we can move on to the
Right.
one. So the thing is that as of now, I am mostly focused on this thing called affiliate marketing. It's a
Okay.
kind of an online business, where we promote other people's product and get paid a handsome commission for that, 50%. If you're making a sale for $800, we get paid $400,
Yeah.
$300,
Best example we
$500 like
can
that.
give is Amazon affiliate. So if
Yeah,
anyone buys
Amazon
any
affiliate.
product
Yeah,
using your
they get
link
paid.
which you generated,
Uh,
they'll get a certain percent of commission on the
yeah, but
sales of the
Amazon
product.
affiliate is like it's way less. It's just four
Yeah, right.
percent. They're
No, just as
yeah.
an
So
example, if someone want to know
yeah,
what is
example right.
affiliate, right?
Right. Affiliate, yeah. Affiliate means basically you're selling other people's product for a profit. So this is all fully digital based business. So to start the businesses, we need money, right? You cannot start any business without a capital. So this was, this is what I'm currently doing. 25% of my time is now, spent on freelancing. Also, like I have a couple of people whom I've hired also recently. They take care of the projects, and well, I can manage the business of the, affiliate marketing. I used to run native ads. If also people are not aware about native ads, it's the ads that you see on, when you're browsing newspaper websites. These
Yeah.
things don't look like ads.
Premium
These
newspaper
things
website, whatever you see on Times of India.
exactly.
This is native ads is different from Google ads.
Right, exactly. So native ads, it's like it does not look like ads, but there's those are ads. So
Yeah,
basically, I'm
crystal
doing
clear
that now,
pictures, high
targeting.
definition pictures, those are the native ads. Can you just tell me the
Exactly,
example
exactly.
of 2 or 3 platforms of native ads?
Yeah, Taboola, Ref Content, Outbrain. Those are
Okay,
the
yeah.
example. So yeah, I'll share my screen with you. This will be a good thing for people who want to, believe if freelancing is legit or not.
Yeah,
Maybe you have pointed out in the right way that many people say that they are making this much amount of money, but they don't have any proofs to back it off. So
right.
yeah, let's share my
So
screen
people
with you, and
don't
maybe.
like to show their transparency or whatever the earnings for n
But
number
this
of
thing,
results, right?
whatever the money I'm earning, it's like public. You can go and see my Upwork profile. I use 3 platforms to do my freelancing businesses, and lately most of my clients are, they are referral based. Like one client, if you work with one client, they love your work, they refer you to other clients. So
Hmm.
those transactions are done through PayPal. So that is different. And the Upwork is like, the thing which I started with the most very dear to my heart, but that is not the thing that I'm spending most of my time now. I'm transitioning into different things. So of course this thing is public. You can see my thing. I'll just share my screen with you, and I think you can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, so let's go to my Upwork profile. This is my Upwork profile background, right? So this is my Upwork profile, right?
Okay,
So
slashing all that
let's first
numbers flashing up.
so this is my overview.
Paisa.
Okay, let's go to my stats. Right here, we can see the 12 months earning. How have I made? So
Right.
this figure you can see right here. This is some
Okay. That's
$23,000. This
some
is the
good number to digest.
so basically, yeah, like since I'm in the edtech business, since I help people make platforms, the COVID gave a huge push to my freelancing business because
Right.
most of the people, they wanted to come online, they wanted to make their own courses. So that gave me a huge push. I became one of the this is called a top rated. I became one of the top rated freelancer in this platform. So
Right.
top rated are the ones who are more preferred by the clients. These
Mhm.
are 12-month earnings in the last 12 months this has met. And mostly, I used to work a lot, maybe full, like everything used to be there till the end of, I guess, August 2020. After that, from September, I started, focusing my attention on elsewhere things. And mostly I now work mostly with, handful of clients and, referral based clients. Those are referred by my own clients. I do not take new clients because frankly, I don't have the time now to, take
Mm.
more clients and all.
Right.
So this is basically my 12 months earnings. And if you want to see the reports, and this is available. I draw it every 2 weeks. This amount comes
Okay.
in last 2 weeks. Amount was this one. This is
Okay.
coming one. This is the last 2 weeks amount is still there. So
So
basically, this is how it works.
this is just the one platform numbers, right?
Yeah, this is just the one platform. As I said, I'm doing, mostly I'm focused on my running my native ads business,
So what is it?
and
What is
mostly
was that $23,000?
It's like from here, what I earned from this is fully like freelancing platform, right? This is
Yeah.
just my freelancing money. This is the
Yeah,
money I earned from this
23,000,
particular platform by
350
doing.
is the one from the one platform.
Yes, this is just one platform.
Right. That is when it convert to INR, that is around 17 lakh, 17.5 lakh.
Is
That
it? Just let me check it. Okay, it comes around, yeah, 17
17
lakhs.
lakh. Yeah, 17 lakh.
Yeah.
So this is like 4-5 times what Capgemini is paying you for an annum.
Yes, that makes me happy.
Right. So seeing these numbers, people might just carried away. So they might just quit this job tomorrow right away. Let me start create my Upwork profile. Let me do. So that is not the thing. You need to toil and
No,
boil
no, 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 no,
accordingly.
no, no. You need to work hard. You need to work hard. You need to work smart. Nothing comes in a day on it. When I was a student back then, like passed college like what is this 2021, right? Yeah. So I passed college in 2018, just 3 years back. So that time I was like, okay, we can by seeing all these videos that is on YouTube and Facebook, I was like, oh wow, this is so cool. I could just go in and open something. I was scammed. I spent so much money. This is called drop shipping. There were so many ads. I was like, wow, if I go on drop shipping, I'll be a millionaire overnight. I will have so much money. I was naive. I did not understand what to do. So I lost so much money. I tried so many different things. I lost so much money. And basically after that moment, I learned that you cannot get anything in a day or night. You need to work hard. And the thing is that which made me, start all these businesses and freelancing is that I I tried more than I will say that I failed more number of times than people ever try in their entire lifetime. I've seen people
So
don't
what's
want
your
to
age
try new
now?
things. It's 25.
25. So yeah, at the age of 25, it's a pretty good life experience you already have compared to what most of the Indians have.
People have their different experiences. I would not, say that anyone has bad or good experience, but it's what you learn from the experiences. What I learned is that you need to try. You need to,
Right.
grow as a human being. You need to try different things. As I said, I failed more number of times than most number of people ever try in their entire lifetime.
Right,
I
right,
failed
right.
in a lot of things. I failed in a lot and lot of things. After that, we have some, the upper part which you see, just the iceberg. You cannot see the bottom
Tip of
part,
the
which is under
iceberg.
the
Yeah, that's
ocean.
always.
You can just see the tip of the iceberg, what looks good, but you cannot know the things which people went through, the hardships, the failures. Those are like,
So Shivansh, yeah, you shared your experience till now. So what is your plans further? Like, where do you see yourself down the line? 5 years, 10 years? What is your further plans?
so yeah, that's a good question. I think that when I first started this, what position I'm in, I never thought that like 5 years back I would be in this position. So life is always
Right.
changing. You need to accept whatever opportunities come your way. But apart from that, I've based my life on like, I'm also like, other than these digital stuffs which I do, I'm also a big, personal finance nerd. I like to learn. I like to know about
Yeah,
things, how to
when it
manage your
comes to
personal
finance, I had
finance.
very good questions. So Indians, when we compare the any other country, Indians has very less financial literacy compared to any other country. People still don't trust stock market. They think investing in stock market is just like gambling. So
No, no, no.
what do you think?
There,
Like since we are talking to Generation Z people, it's important to spread this message. Like financial literacy is important in life. Whatever they are
so yeah,
earning, just
you're.
doesn't mean go and keep in your
No, no,
savings
no, no,
bank
no,
account, right?
no,
So
no. That
what
that
is
does
your
not.
perspective on financial education in India?
So basically, finance, Yashwant, it's something, being from a middle class family which your parents don't teach you, or
Right,
maybe they have their views. Like, most of the parents, what my experience is that parents still think that keeping the money in bank FD, keeping the money in LIC is the best investment choice you can make, right? That's what parents, most of the parents think. Maybe not all the parents, but most of the parents think. Even
right,
my parents, they have done a lot for me. They're very helpful. But when it comes to finance, they think the way it was when they were our age, right?
right,
So we need to study this. So as I said, as you asked me, your last question was also like, what is my 5 year plan, right? So combining this both of this, I would like to, point out an answer. Like, as I said, I'm a big personal finance nerd. I like to study the books. Uh, the thing which I want to point out here, your money is the best employee you can get.
Right.
You can hire hundreds of employees, okay, but no one will work for you for 24 hours a day. Your money will work for you. If you learn these things when you are young, like I'm still learning. It's not that I will never say that I know everything. I'm still learning. I'm, of course, every day people are learning. But the thing is that when you know about this, when you know about finance, when you know how to manage your finance, when you are not down in, knee deep debts, credit card debts, loans, personal loans, of flashy phones and a flashy bike to impress people. No, like, many people, maybe they do that to impress other people. But thing is that my advice to Generation Z will be that save, not only save, invest as much as you can till at least you're 30 years of age. Spend on the things that you love, spend on the things that will make you grow, but don't spend your money on flashy items. Saying that, I've chalked out 3 goals in life when I was in, like, when I just started, passing, going through college. The 3 goals were basically, I wanted to be, there are 3 things I wanted, always wanted to be. In college, I thought, okay, I want this, but I did not know how to go through that. The first was that I wanted to be location independent. Second was that I wanted to be time independent. I'll explain what these are shortly. And the third, I wanted to be financial independent, right? So first of all, location independent means like you can work from anywhere. As of now, almost 75% of the world is like,
Yeah,
location
work from
independent.
home.
People can work from
Work from
anywhere.
home is the new normal.
Yes. So that just became the norm for
And
everyone.
we learned
That
so
was
many new words like workation. We didn't even know what those things were.
exactly.
Now this is the things.
Those are the new things that came up.
Right.
So that was my one of the first aim to become location independent. The second aim which I'm working right now is to become time independent. Time independent is something, again, this is also related to the finance questions that we were
Right.
discussing. This thing, I'm very excited to discuss about these things because I want a new generation to know about these things. I'm pretty sure that the new generation is very educated. They also invest in stocks and all, but these things, I'm pretty sure that they will of course take it and absorb it in their life. The second is I wanted to be time independent. These are the goals. These are the big goals of life. So the thing is, the time independent means like you are not trading your time for money. Okay, as of now, I'm still not totally time independent. Time independent means like you are running your own, like, profitable business where you even work 4 hours or 5 hours, 10 hours a week, and you're still making more money than you've ever imagined.
Right.
There are people like that, and with the help of uh,
Right.
automation, I think the video froze. So with the help of automation, there's a lot of automations and no code platforms and everything. If you learn those stuff, you can get into those, the thing of making yourself time independent, which is my big focus for the next 2 years. I want to be time independent and transition fully from doing freelancing. And the third and the final goal, which maybe it will take 15 years, couple of decades, is becoming like financial independent. That should be the main goal. You should financial independence. You will achieve the day where your money, the money which you have invested, the money which you have, okay, that money earns so much money per month that is more than your monthly expenses, everything covered.
Right. As the
Right,
man himself,
like,
Warren Buffett says, you need to find
exactly,
a way
to
that
make
money
money while
earns
you sleep.
automatically when you sleep, or
Right,
else you
right,
will
right.
work until you die.
Right. So that should be the main aim, financial independence. Like, as I said, the money which you earn per month, maybe passively, it's mostly passively.
Right.
Passive income is something where you don't trade your time for money. It just comes in. You make money to work for you. So in that case, when you make money work for you, when you have the money, you are making more money per month than you are spending. That is a time you're making more money per month passively without doing anything. You have done something. You have investments. You have businesses. Those are running on
Those will earn you
autopilot.
without you being working. Right.
Yeah, without you managing everything from the top down. So
Yeah.
that is the main aim. I don't know. It will maybe take 2 decades, 50 years. So that should be the main goal of
So
everyone here.
right. So this is the your plans for the coming 5 years, 10 years down the line. So
Yeah,
when it
5
comes
years. So I
to
want to, I want to expand my business in the next 5 years. I want to travel. Also, of course, I love traveling. You can see the
yeah,
background right there, right?
right.
So I love traveling. I really, really love traveling. For 2020, I had a lot of plans, to visit some countries. But those did not come true. And I hope that in 2021 also it won't come true. I won't be able to travel. Maybe I will start traveling more, and leading the working from laptop, being in countries where I
So,
want to
since
visit.
you're not an employee for any company, you are now more flexible to travel than anywhere. Like
Yes, but we need to also work, right? Everyone, like,
right,
nowadays also I spend almost 6 to 7 hours per day working at a minimum.
right. So the numbers, like people get carried away by seeing these numbers, but you also work like a regular employee. If it takes you,
Yeah, yeah.
even you
need
might
to
need to
work. There
work,
is,
right?
yeah.
Even, yeah.
Everyone needs. There's no. The quotes which you see on Instagram, they're not false. Like people, they will post like there is no elevator to success. There is no shortcut to success. Those are true, man.
Elevator to
those are
success
really
is broken. You need to go step by step.
Yes. You need to take the steps. You need to work. You need to build up. You need to dream. You need to have a mindset where you can think, I can do this.
Right.
You should not. My advice to Generation Z should be that you should not be affected by other opinion. You should follow people whose lifestyle you want to aspire to be,
Right.
whose lifestyle you want to follow. You should not follow other people's advice. Those who are not in a position where you want to be. That is the greatest advice I can give to people. There are many people who say this won't work. You should do this. You should do that. But at the end of the day, you should listen to people who are at a position where you want to be. Maybe 10 years, 20 years down the lane.
So since you spoke, who is your role model as of now? Because role model keeps changing as on the new things we get to know. So who is your, as of now, who is your role model?
Maybe he's not that much like, that person will, of course, will be, there are two people basically, but they're not like, they are very famous in my niche, but not that famous outside my niche where I'm working. Okay. One is Mr. Russell Brunson.
Okay.
He's a creator of ClickFunnels software. Amazing guy. He gives out so much value. He has done so much from being a broke college graduate with no money and just married to, he's now a multi-millionaire running one of the most successful software products in the software as a service product in the history of internet marketing.
Mm-hmm.
The second is also Mr. Peng Joon. He's a Malaysia-based entrepreneur come coach.
Right.
He has achieved a lot. He was the creator of the Warcraft or
World of Warcraft. Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I think he was a creator of that game, I guess. Creator or seller of that game. He did something with that game when he was quite young. So he made a lot of money before he was even 20 years old. Mm-hmm. So I look up to these people a lot, and their way of teaching people, empowering other people, building a business, doing it all on your own. Those inspire me a lot.
Right. So yeah, that's all we wanted to talk as of today. So it's been a great time, a great evening talking to you, Shubhanksh. It's been a great time. Thank you for joining us on this podcast, and it's been a great time talking to you. Hope Generation Z people find this useful, and whoever is trying to quit their jobs and getting into this full-time freelancing or aspiring, whatever their dreams are, hope this video helps them to achieve their goals. So this is Generation Z people, whoever want to share your life experience or your journey so far, or any topics. It doesn't matter whatever the topics is, money, travel, relationship, marriage, whatever comes in the top of your mind. If you love to share your perspective or experience on those topics, you can directly contact us. In the description, we'll leave our Gmail ID, or you can also DM us on our Instagram channel, and we'll get back to you. So we'll have a quick chat or whatever it is. So again, thank you, Shubhanksh, for joining us.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to be on your show. It's been a pleasure to be on your show.
Thank you for joining us, especially on a weekend, Saturday evening. So yeah, have a great day. Bye-bye.
Have a great day. Thank you.